So now we're crawling into late 2024. We had taken a lot of the code we had and just like compiled it, understood it, really took a look at things from a business standpoint. And you know, it was such a difficult and dark time to have spent that much money and time in your life spent, and you had nothing done yet except these wicked designs and everything. And we got exactly what we needed out of those years. And it hit me, and I realized that if you are going to create the world's first anything, especially a video game that has never been done before, that could be this groundbreaking, this is what you can't learn in university. This is what money can't buy. It's the experience to know how to run a video game company. You see, the problem wasn't the development teams early. They were also a problem because they lied to us, but this could have been prevented with experience. What we had learned is how to ask the right question. So instead of just going to people, we created our own dev team. We said, we're going to do this. We're going to do it properly. And we have now learned over failing for the last year and a half what the right questions are to ask when we need to hire people and what to look for. So what went from our early version of what Chart Raiders looked like as a company of people and as the leadership of this company, myself, and saying like, okay, instead of trusting this company to do this, what do we need? And we could identify it on the spot now. Late 2024 hits and we're like, okay, we need 3 MERN developers for exactly this. We need 2 database architects for exactly this. We need a systems architect for this. We need 2 engineers for that. We need an electronic developer for this. We need to make the installer auto update in this way. Let's shift this resource here. So day by day, we went from what the old operations were, we check in once a week with a team and trust what they are doing, to day by day having an entire production schedule with hundreds of things being addressed every day across a team of 10 to 15 people. Because at this point, we had the experience. Me and Sean had the experience. Sean and Sean, we spell our names differently, but otherwise the paperwork would be a nightmare. But between the two of us, we knew exactly what to ask of our employees. We knew exactly how to run the project. And this is what 2 years of failing as a video game company gets you. It gets you the experience to ask the exact questions, to manage your resources daily, to say, hey, MERN stack developer, you're doing this today. I need you over here because this is due for Thursday. When you're done that Thursday, Friday, I need you on this. And we now have our timeline so tight that it allowed us to scale our team and hire the exact resources. We would go through 100 interviews to find one full stack developer. We would go through another 50 interviews to find the right database engineer. We would go through another 70 interviews to find the .NET developer, and then another 70 to find another .NET developer. And we were able to scale up the team with the people who actually knew how to build what we were asking for. And they couldn't build it by themselves, but with our direction and their skill set and us understanding how to run this company properly as a software team, we were now cooking with fire and could actually make the software for the first time. And we learned over those years of failure and roadblocks how to run this thing. That's something you can't learn in school. We see it all the time in the video game industry. They try to have a follow-up to GoldenEye on N64 and they come out with Perfect Dark and a bunch of these other games that make no sense. Companies, they promise these games that are going to change the industry. They end up flopping and failing because of the features are garbage or the combat doesn't work properly. The games are riddled with bugs. They're crippled with timelines. They end up promising the world and delivering a small sandwich. Like, it never works out for video game companies. I went through a span of my video game life where I kind of lost the love for video games because I got so disappointed by the industry coming off such big high moments in the industry and then being let down MMO after MMO, failed release after failed release, promise of the new games. How many years I sat there, best games of 2021, best games of 2015, 16, 17, only to be left with disappointments by companies that promised the world and couldn't deliver. And it's like, it clicked that was a problem in the industry, and you can't learn the amount of companies, Ubisoft, everything that I've seen reshape themselves over the years because they have had failed projects. The Division is a great one. That game was amazing, but failed due to a whole bunch of reasons that were promised to be fixed that never could be fixed. And like the gaming industry became riddled in the middle of like 2010 to 2020 with just failed games. And I don't really think it ever crawled out of that. I think now it's getting a little better, but the gaming landscape has shifted. And now I don't necessarily know if they fixed anything. I think maybe they've just shifted the focus of what's being released. we learned all that. We learned every mistake that I saw myself unfold. We learned how to avoid them. And now we could develop chart readers properly.